What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Panels on Pages. This is the podcast where we talk about comic books and all media associated with it. And sometimes we will talk about the fandoms that come along with those comic books and related media. Today in particular, I want to talk about true fans. And I put that in air quotes because there are a lot of people out here calling themselves true fans, and they are using that as some sort of gatekeeping metric to tell people that they are not the right kind of fan for the fandom that they're trying to participate in. I've seen this a lot in the Star Wars community, especially anybody that likes the sequel trilogy. I'm a big fan of the sequel trilogy. Thought the ending was not that great, but we'll talk about that another time. There are fans, and I put that in quotes because if you're a fan of something, your job is not to prevent other people from being fans of that thing. In fact, you should be just sharing the fact that you like that fandom, not preventing people from liking it the way they like it. Because to tell someone that they don't like something the right way, or that they don't like the right part of something, that's asinine. That's very plainly asinine. The OGs, like I'm 37 years old, the OGs in this game, and the people before me even more so, we were made fun of for reading comics. We were made fun of for liking nerdy things. Now it's become a more popular thing. And I understand that there are some of you out there who are in my age bracket, maybe a little bit younger, maybe a little bit older, sadly, who might feel that, oh, well, we went through that struggle and therefore we somehow have ownership of these properties, ownership of these fandoms. We don't have those things. We don't have ownership of these things. If someone wants to come in and follow Marvel or DC or Star Wars or whatever the fandom may be for their own reasons, let them do that. What is the problem with just letting people enjoy the media they like? Not everything is a competition. Not everything has to be some sort of struggle or battle or whatever. You can like what you like the way you like it, and someone else can like it the way they like it. Just because you like the original Star Wars trilogy does not mean that someone shouldn't like the sequel trilogy. Does not mean that someone shouldn't like the prequel trilogy. Because I was there when the prequel trilogy came out. All the hardcore Star Wars fans were like, this is garbage. This destroys the Star Wars universe. It destroys Star Wars. Blah, blah, blah. Nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. And here we are 20 years later, and people are like, the prequels were good. The sequels are the ones that suck. Because it doesn't matter what you like as long as you like it. Because guess what? The people who grew up with the prequels like the prequels. The people who were indoctrinated into the Star Wars religion, if we want to call it that, the Star Wars fandom at an early age, and were told, oh, these are the Star Wars movies, and then when their parents said, oh, the sequels or the prequels suck, the kids were like, oh, the prequel sucks. So now there's a whole generation of people who are my age who are talking about, oh, the prequels aren't good. And then when the sequels come out, then, oh, that's the true travesty. The other ones were not that bad. This is the true travesty. It doesn't matter what it is. You're just not going to like the new stuff. It's a new age. Stories are being told in a new, different way. If you don't like that, you don't have to like it. Guess what? The original films are still there. The original comic book of whatever you are mad about is still there. When Sam Wilson became Captain America in the comics, I had a discussion with a guy online who said that, oh, well, his kid is watching the movies, and when I take him to the store, I can't pick him up a comic book with Captain America that looks like what he's watching on screen. Are you joking? There is 60 years of comic books that have white Captain America in them. 80 at this point. I don't even know. There's a lot of freaking years of comic books with a white Captain America. You could cherry pick the best stories and feed them to your kid, right? You don't have to give them, oh, the mediocre story. You don't have to show them armored Captain America, right? Not everyone was a fan. I kind of thought it was cool, but I was a kid in the 90s. So that's what was cool to me. If you don't like Sam Wilson Captain America, you don't have to like it. But that's the stories that the owners of that property want to tell. You don't get to have a say in it. If you don't buy it, maybe they see, oh, okay, people don't like this, people aren't buying it, we will move on to the next thing. And that's what always happens. It's what happened when they made Cap a Nazi, quote unquote, because that's not what it really was if you actually read the story. But everyone lost their mind. Oh, Cap's not a Nazi, blah, blah, blah. But that's not what the story was. Ultimately, it was really weird. It was a very strange ending, and now we've just kind of ignored it for the most part. But it went back to normal, quote unquote. The era of that storytelling finished. They moved on to the next thing. Realistically, I don't particularly like the current Avengers compared to Hickman's run. I loved Hickman's run. Pre-Secret Wars, the whole Planet Avengers thing, my favorite, absolute favorite Avengers run. Second, I wonder if it's second. I don't know. The John Byrne run from 98 when they came back from Heroes Reborn, that was also very good. I might have to debate that. But regardless, my point is, loved those runs. Still read the current ones. Still like the current books. But if I didn't, I wouldn't read them. Or I would, and I wouldn't like them. Like, there's just that. I'm not telling anyone, oh, you're wrong for liking the current Avengers line. But there are lots of people who are out here like, no, they're ruining She-Hulk. They're ruining this character, that character, whatever. How so? Nothing is permanent. It's comic books. There's not even permanent death anymore. I think the only person now that we have left that's permanently dead, and even that's been kind of weird because like alternate versions of him have come back, is Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is the last stayed dead person. Because everybody else, we had the 3 golden rules back in the day. We had the 3 golden rules. The 3 people that stay dead are Bucky, Jason Todd, and Uncle Ben. And son of a bitch, 2 out of 3 came back. So I'm at any point, I'm waiting for Uncle Ben to show up and be like, actually, I was never dead. Like, the point is, nothing stays permanent in comics. Nothing. People hated Chuck Austin's run on X-Men. I think it was solid. I really found it interesting in some ways. I'm going to do a whole separate thing on that. My point is, I never went out and yelled at people for not liking it. Oh, you don't like this? Okay. I don't care. I don't care if someone else doesn't like it. And why should you care that someone else does like something that you don't like? I get that you have an association with these characters. I get that you have some sort of connection to these stories. But that doesn't mean that you get to prevent people from telling new stories, and especially prevent people from enjoying new stories. I talked to someone recently who, in light of the new Shang-Chi movie, said, if they had just done if they just modernized the 70s version a bit, that would have been awesome. No, it wouldn't have. No, it wouldn't have. Because are you even aware that character has evolved since the 70s? Like, that's not even the character anymore. Like, he has so many more relationships. Just talking about just people who he knows in the Marvel Universe, that he is a different character now. You just want the 70s? You want a character from 50 years ago? Are you joking? Come on. And, like, not even touching on the fact that a lot of the things around that, a lot of the things around his father's origin and appearance and everything, like, there was a lot of stuff that was just, like, quote-unquote okay for the time, and I still think that's a joke excuse, but whatever, that definitely would not fly today. It just wouldn't fly today. If they were to put on screen a caricature of a Chinese man and call him Fu Manchu, Marvel Studios would burn down in flames. I would light the match myself. It's stupid. You're holding on to the wrong things. Like, if you think, as a fan of Shang-Chi, that the 70s stuff is the only good stuff, then you don't actually care about storytelling. You don't care about the character. You just want to see those exact stories on the big screen. And that's pointless, because guess what? The way they wrote comics in the 70s sometimes isn't even consumable in the modern age. Like, I've read comics from 60s, 70s. It's hard to read. The slang of the era is completely different than the way people talk now. So, they just modernized it, well, if they modernize the slang, they have to modernize what's happening. Like, because they're not hunting down payphones to call people. Like, it's different. Times are different, and you need to understand that. So stories need to be different. People are different now. Like, I do not understand this obsession with verbally assaulting people who just who disagree with you. Like, and fandom has to be where this starts, right? This is, even if you're a young kid, even if you're, like, I can't imagine that you are a more reasonable person outside of the fandom conversations. Like, you're probably at work telling people they should like your idea regardless of what they think. Like, would you think that would fly if you're like, hey, no, boss, you're wrong. My idea is great. I love this idea. You should love this idea. And if you don't love this idea, you're wrong. Think about that. Like, just think about that for a few minutes and tell me that that would fly in any way, in any other situation. And it shouldn't fly in fandom. It shouldn't fly when you talk about comic books. There are so many people right now that are like, oh, Hickman's made X-Men unrecognizable. How so? If anything, they're even more recognizable than ever. They're all walking around with enormous X's all over them, which is weird because it's not like X-Men, whatever. That's a whole other video. My point is, if you don't like the current run of X-Men, you don't have to. But don't tell other people that they shouldn't like it. If you don't like the current run of Captain America, Iron Man, whatever, Avengers, Justice League, whatever book you're reading, whatever comic book series you're a fan of, if you don't like the current thing, don't worry, someone will put it back to normal. Because guess what? I just recently found out that there is an entire community of people out there that despise Dan Slott's Spider-Man run. I thought it was some of the most interesting stuff that they had done to Spider-Man in ages. Absolutely loved it. Big fan. Incredibly intricate. There's a whole lot of stuff. I wish they had left him with the company. Again, whole other video. But regardless of how I feel about it, there is a whole community of people out there that did not like it. And guess what? Whoever took over, Nick Spencer, I think, which ironically, everyone hated his Captain America run because of he turned Cap into a Nazi. And he took over Spider-Man, and everyone was like, oh my god, it's like the best Spider-Man ever. I actually thought it was really boring. I didn't like the fact that it kind of went back to this, oh, Peter lives in an apartment, he can't afford rent. Like, the character's 80 years old. He's evolved so much. For him to not be able to afford rent at this point, it's kind of a joke. Like, it's not even really relatable. Maybe that's just my perspective, but I don't particularly like resetting Spider-Man. Oh, we're back to, oh, he's trying to hook up with Mary Jane. Like, I liked him with other love interests. I liked him being explored more as a character, being explored more as a responsible freaking adult. But there was a period where he was a teacher, and he was in a good place as a teacher. And then people were like, no, he's going to go back to shooting pictures for the Bugle. Everyone always just wants to put him back in that mold that they know him. And guess what? Regardless of what I think, they're going to do that. And then I get to decide as a reader if I like that story or I don't. If it has any merit, if it has any value. If it doesn't, I don't have to read it. And I don't have to like it. But guess what? People might. And they might enjoy it and they might love it. And I don't care. Like, that's just how it is. Like, if I like something, I don't care if other people don't like it, and vice versa. Like, if I don't like something, I'm gonna let other people like it if they do. Like, my wife is a huge Tremors fan. I have nothing for Tremors. Like, I don't dislike it, but I don't like it. Like, it's like a B-movie series. But she enjoys it. She loves it. She watched, I think, all of them recently. Okay, cool. Like, I don't care. That's her thing. And her having her thing is fine. It doesn't affect me in any way. Like, just let people like the things they like, how they like them. I don't understand shipping. Don't get it at all. I don't understand why people ship characters. I don't understand why I don't get it. People have explained it, and I've consumed that, and I still don't get it. But, like, at no point was I like, true fans know. Like, no, stupid. This is stupid. Just let people enjoy their stuff. I don't understand what the compulsion is. I don't understand why people are doing it, but it needs to stop. Like, people are attacking people for liking things. Ignorant. Just let it be. If you like or dislike something, let other people have an opposing opinion. It's fine. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't affect you. There are tons of Marvel Comics fans that think the MCU is a big joke. But then there are a ton of MCU fans that are like, oh, no, you're wrong because you like this MCU movie, or you're wrong because you like this in the MCU. Do you understand that at the end of the day, there are people who think you're wrong too? How would you feel if somebody was like, you like the MCU? That's a joke. The comic books are the original place. They are so much better. Like, how would you feel about it? How would you feel about someone telling you that you're wrong because of how you like something? It is obscene at this point. It is ridiculous, and it needs to stop. Like, if you are under 18, grow up. You need to get over this. If you are over 18, act like a goddamn adult. Like, this is getting absolutely ridiculous. There are people on TikTok and on YouTube and on all over the place, all social media, people just saying, oh, I really like this thing. And then just a swarm of hater fans being like, you're fucking crazy. You're insane. This is terrible. Here is the laundry list of why this is wrong. Just let people like shit the way they like it. Like, it doesn't matter. It won't affect you in any way. I promise. If you don't like a movie, if you don't like a remake, if you don't like a whatever, just go back to the source material. If you don't like the MCU, read the comics. They're always going to be there forever. If you don't like the new MCU movies or the shows, you got the old ones. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And anyone that was like, oh, if you didn't watch all of the MCU movies before watching WandaVision, you're not a true fan, you're a psychopath. First of all, that is an incredibly large time commitment. You had the privilege, perhaps, of watching them as they came out. 2 hours here and there over 10 years. To tell someone, oh, don't watch this show until you've watched 40, 60, however many hours of content beforehand, you're a psychopath. This needs to stop. It's getting annoying to degrees that I can't even verbalize. A true fan wouldn't be gatekeeping, wouldn't be making fun of people, wouldn't be telling people that they don't like something the way that they should. True fans don't exist because there is no box that fans fit in of a thing. There is no such thing as a true fan. And if you call yourself a true fan, that is now my litmus test of if I'm even going to discuss things with you, if I'm even going to give you a moment of my time. Because if you say, oh, I'm a true fan of Star Wars, no. Get off my feed, get out of my face. I am uninterested. Because if you think you're a true fan, that means you think that there are people who aren't. I like Star Wars. I don't love Star Wars. Personally, I think it's an overall boring universe. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people who have an opinion about that. But guess what? I don't care. I do not care. And they shouldn't care that I don't love it. That's it. You like it the way you like it. I like it the way I like it. We all move on with our days. I like Star Trek in a way that is not even explainable in words. Most people don't. And people that do, and that share the same passion, we have great conversations. And the people that don't have those conversations. End of the day, all of this nonsense needs to stop. Enjoy the things you enjoy. Let other people enjoy the things they enjoy and the way they enjoy them. And move on with your damn day. If you want to discuss something, versus battles, I don't get those either, but people love them. Cool, have versus battles. But like, to yell at someone because, oh, you're like a Batman stan and you're like, you believe in the Bat God theory, blah, 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 Batman can do anything. Like, to yell at that person, cool, let them believe that. If they believe that Batman can beat anybody, cool, let them believe that. Who cares? Why does it matter? Like, you know, I get if you're like, all right, here are my reasons, here's my argument in a versus battle why Batman would lose or Batman would win, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But if you then go on the attack and tell the person who thinks that Batman would win that they're crazy or whatever, that they're wrong, it's their opinion. You can have an uninformed opinion And that's fine if you feel like you should be the one to educate them on that opinion. I guess go for it. But don't belittle them for liking the thing they like or liking something how they like it. If someone thinks Batman can beat everyone, that's their opinion. Move on with your day. Like, if you're not in a debate situation where they're trying to win the argument and convince a group of people or whatever, who cares? If they think Batman can beat everyone, cool. There are people out there, I'm sure, that think Iron Man has a suit for everything and can beat anyone as well. Who cares? It doesn't matter. End of the day, people need to stop this nonsense, this true fans nonsense. Again, that is going to be my litmus test. If someone says, oh, true fans this, I'm just going to block them. Like, I'm just not interested in your true fan ideas or opinions. And guess what? I'm not going to yell at you about it. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I just don't want anything to do with you, because that's probably what you're doing to other people who like the thing we're talking about in a different way. I don't know. That's going to be it for this one. I'm going to try to keep this under 30 minutes. I'm not trying to just repeat myself over and over. And to anyone who watches this, sorry about the autofocus issues. Still got to figure out this camera and how to best do this without it losing focus. I hate it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I will see you next week.